What's up, YouTube? This is my review of the Syma, whatever, X8, X8c. It's a large toy quadcopter which mimics the DJI Phantom, which obviously it's not, but you know, it's $100 or roughly so much. Now, obviously, this guy here has been heavily modified. Got FPV going on here. It's a mount for a Runcam, which I'm actually using to film this as we speak. And you know, it's a fun toy though, and it can carry, well, action cams. That's the whole point of this thing. It's a good aerial bird. It can carry a big HD camera. It can carry it for at least 10 minutes, and well, it's pretty awesome. It's very stable, a very good flyer, even in light wind, and it's just, yeah, a fun toy. So, at any rate, I'm going to show some footage of this flying and what modifications I've done to this. But first of all, I just want to say that, you know, these toys are just so amazing. I'm not really jealous of kids growing up these days with, you know, smartphones and the internet and all this cool stuff. It's the microelectronics and how cheap they've become is what I'm really, you know, amazed, basically. So I'm a child of the late 70s, early 80s, and I had some cool toys too, you know, growing up. G.I. Joe and Star Wars and, you know, stuff like that, Legos. But, you know, not stuff like this exactly. This is just pretty amazing what you can afford nowadays with this kind of stuff. And, you know, I guess in my teenage years I actually, you know, built a few 1/10 scale RC cars, you know, with the 540 class motors, 7.2 volt big NiCad stick batteries, the frequency crystals. Remember those guys? Those are horrible. Anyways, flying toys were expensive. They were usually gas powered and a big investment. So never got into that kind of stuff because, you know, that's just, yeah, hard. It's very, very expensive. So anyways, college hit, grad school hit, you know, job, wife, mortgage, all that good stuff. And I never really paid attention to toys that came around since then. But, you know, somewhere in the early 2000s, these guys started coming out. Remember these guys? A little, you know, infrared powered, transmitted, whatever, 2-channel helicopter for crazy cheap and durable and fairly long lasting. It was pretty amazing, you know, the technology that went into these guys for how much they were. Yeah, you couldn't really hover, and you know, you had to speed up or slow down to go left or right, and you didn't have pitch controls. So you had to add weights to the front here for that. But you know, all in all, pretty amazing stuff. And then of course, Syma started coming out with these guys, you know, these coaxial helicopters with way more detail, and you know, the S107 was a really, you know, excellent bird, and you know, they're still infrared powered or, you know, transmitter, and you really can't fly them outside because you kind of need the room to bounce around the infrared beams for it to control itself. And you know, once the lipos kind of died, you had to crack them open and actually, you know, wire new stuff in there. But you know, given that it's, you know, you can go left and right, hover, and it has pitch control and gyros and things like that. That was pretty amazing. Also for, you know, 20 or 30 bucks. That's just crazy what you can get, you know. Thank you, microelectronics, and thank you, China, for cheap stuff like this. And then anyways, I noticed that quadcopters started coming out. This was my first one. It's a Syma X1. It's actually a clone of a Syma X1, but my other one died. Same thing exactly. 3.7 volt battery in the back here. You can replace the batteries pretty easily. Very fun. What I liked about these guys, what I liked about Syma toys, or their quadcopters, is that basically you can control the pitch, the yaw, the rudder control with the right stick. They call that mode 2. That's actually mode 4. And only Syma toy class quadcopters have that ability, it seems like. So because I grew up, you know, or not only grew up, but I was so used to these guys and controlling rudder with the right stick, I really liked how these guys flew. They were very natural. You know, I like flying indoors too. You know, the Hubsan X4 is an excellent little toy, and the little Cheerson. Look how small that little guy is. That's crazy. They're great, but I can't seem to wrap my head around flying these quite as well as the Syma toys in mode 4 flying. So they're cool, but you know, ones like this Syma X11, this is way more fun and stable and can take a beating, and I'm amazed how easy it is to fly this little guy, you know, indoors or out actually. But anyways, this is about the X8. Now this big guy here has been modified, like I said, and there is a Quantum FPV system here. There's a transmitter behind here, the camera, and the mushroom antenna. Wire this up here. Little attachment here, little JST connector for the power that actually runs off the balance plug for the battery, and a little anti-vibration mount here. Now I've done these guys, the little zip tie mounts, and they work pretty well for anti-vibration. And you know, actually balancing the props did the most help there. But I decided to have more real estate to actually mount stuff there. So I got one of these anti-vibration mounts. Now I'm only using half of it because I'm trying to save weight. And I'm basically strapping a Velcro strap through some of the slots inside the body of the quadcopter and wrapping it around the entire thing and kind of just pressing it, kind of clamping it, cinching it up against the body. And it works pretty darn well, I gotta say. And you're saving some weight there. But anyways, this is my first foray, I guess, into FPV flying, and I wanted to actually do it with, you know, goggles. Now this is the Quantum FPV kit that you get from HobbyKing with the big screen inside and a Fresnel lens to, let me turn this on, to give you a more immersive and cheaper way of viewing stuff. So as you can see, maybe that's what the screen looks like, kind of. It's my junky garage, some bikes, and it's pretty cool. I thought it'd be more like a flight simulator, but you know, you have a very narrow field of view, and that gets kind of weird. I have a lack of situational awareness, I think, up close when you're flying between trees and things like that. It drifts left and right, and so I don't see that sometimes. From a distance, it's actually nice to have this and to fly through this, but I think up close I'm still not quite used to it yet, so more practice, I guess. Anyways, that's about $100 for one of these kits, but the great thing about that is you can transfer that to other future quadcopter builds and other remote control hobbies that I might get into later. And this is just slaved onto a toy class quadcopter, which is pretty cool. Now, like a lot of people who buy these things, I'm going to use it for, well, aerial photography. I'm going to have a little bit of fun flying through the FPV system, but I also want some good footage of some of the places I go paddling to. So one of the other things I built too as an adult was this big 17-foot mahogany and fiberglass sea kayak, which here in Portland, Oregon, there's a lot of great places to go paddling, some cool pristine beaches, and just really nice scenery. And this quadcopter actually fits upside down with the props kind of folded back a little bit in the hold back here in the bulkhead. So I haven't quite done that yet because, well, I've added some money to this thing, and I'm a little afraid of this going into water. So I'm going to get a little more practice at this first, and maybe I'll fly over some water and some cool beaches and whatnot. But anyways, this guy is, like I said, a large toy class quadcopter. It's got brushed motors, so they're not quite as powerful and reliable, I guess, as a lot of other real quadcopters. And it doesn't have GPS or anything fancy like the DJI Fancy would have. But for $110, that's not too bad. There's some painter's tape here for helping with orientation, because it's symmetrical, so from a distance it's hard to tell which way the thing's going. And the lights in the daytime, you kind of don't see that too well. Same thing with the stripes. The ping pong balls, same deal there. I figure, hey, let's just give it some personality. So, it's less menacing, because drones got a bad rap. Anyways, oops, I should probably unplug this. This has been a very fun toy, I must say, and I will probably keep improving on this thing, and then maybe I will show some footage of this thing flying around. Anyways, hope you like it, and I really recommend this for people getting into quads. It's not a beginner's quad because it is pretty big and heavy, and it can be dangerous because this falling at a high altitude and with some speed could definitely hurt somebody. And these props are kind of big, so I would probably go for, you know, the X11 or something smaller at first if you're just getting into this. But then, you know, for 30 bucks, this isn't bad. For 100, this definitely isn't bad either, given the cargo capacity. And, you know, from then you can, you know, upgrade to, I don't know, your DJI Phantom, or actually build your own quadcopter. But I think for now, this has been a great experience to see this, and to have this in FPV mode has been really fun. It's giving me a first taste of what that feels like, and it's actually been, you know, a great learning experience in putting this stuff together. I highly recommend both these together. They've been, you know, a nice combination, and like I said, you can actually, you know, move all this stuff, including the Runcam, to a future build, so it's not like it's you know, permanently attached to this thing. Although I wouldn't mind opening this case, which is pretty hollow in here, and actually attaching the camera inside the front here, and I have a hole coming out. And actually, the transmitter and antenna can be mounted inside with the antenna coming at the top here, just enough clearance for the propellers here. That might make it kind of more streamlined and kind of more integrated instead of having it hang down like this, because, you know, kind of a pendulum effect. You have too much weight down here, so that might be better performing if you actually strap everything inside and keep everything balanced. But anyways, this has been my review, and I'll try to take some video footage now.